In a village cradled by ancient mountains, Chief Kaya was a man whose word was law and whose heart, once expansive, had grown selfish. He had two daughters, the twins Lena and Mina, born on a night when two moons were said to have graced the sky. They were reflections of each other, with eyes like polished obsidian and laughter that echoed the chime of river stones. Their mother had passed into the spirit world shortly after their birth, leaving the chief to raise them. For a time, he cherished them, seeing in their faces the memory of his lost love. But time is a river that erodes even the strongest stone, and the chief's affection was no exception. A new woman entered his life, a weaver named Serafina whose beauty was as sharp and captivating as a hawk's cry. Her heart, however, was a barren field where no love for the twins could grow. She saw them not as children, but as obstacles, remnants of a past she wished to erase. She whispered poison into the chief's ear, her words coiling around his heart like a venomous snake. "They are a constant reminder of her," she would say, her voice a silken trap. "How can our future begin when her past still breathes in your house?" The chief, blinded by his infatuation, began to see his daughters through Serafina's cruel eyes. Their laughter became a grating noise, their presence an unwelcome shadow. The love he once held for them curdled into resentment. He made a decision that would stain his name for generations, a choice born of weakness and selfish desire. He would remove the obstacles. He would abandon his own flesh and blood. He chose the Forest of Whispers, a place so feared that even the bravest hunters would not dare tread its paths after sundown. It was said that the trees themselves were alive, that they whispered secrets to the wind and trapped the souls of those who died within their tangled roots. It was a place of no return. One evening, under the cloak of a moonless sky, Chief Kaya led Lena and Mina deep into the woods. He told them they were playing a game of hide and seek, a final, twisted act of paternal affection. He told them to close their eyes and count to 100, promising a grand prize to the winner. The girls, full of innocent trust, did as he asked. Their small voices, counting in unison, were the last sounds of his children he would hear for a very long time. As they reached 50, he turned his back on them and walked away, not once looking back, the sound of their counting swallowed by the oppressive silence of the forest. When Lena and Mina reached 100, they opened their eyes to an empty clearing. The familiar forest edge was gone, replaced by an impenetrable wall of ancient, gnarled trees. Panic began to set in, a cold fear that gnawed at their hearts. They called out for their father, their voices small and trembling, but the only answer was the rustling of leaves, which now sounded like mocking whispers. "Father," they cried, but the forest only answered with a chilling sigh. They were alone, left to the mercy of the haunted woods. Years passed in the village. Chief Kaya and Serafina ruled, but a shadow hung over them. The village elders spoke in hushed tones of the chief's betrayal. The harvest grew thin, the rivers ran low, and a strange sickness began to creep through the huts. It was as if the land itself was mourning the loss of the twin girls and punishing the village for its chief's sin. Serafina gave the chief no new children, and the joy they had sought together turned to ash in their mouths. The chief grew old, his face a mask of regret, haunted by the memory of two small voices counting in the dark. Then, 1 decade to the day of their abandonment, a strange phenomenon occurred. The morning mist that usually clung to the Forest of Whispers did not recede. Instead, it rolled forward, thick and deliberate, blanketing the village in an ethereal fog. From within the mist, 2 figures emerged, walking in perfect synchrony. They were women now, tall and graceful, dressed in garments woven from moss and moonlight. It was Lena and Mina. Their faces were the same, yet different, serene, powerful, and unervingly calm. Their eyes, once the color of obsidian, now glowed with a soft, otherworldly green light. They walked through the village, their bare feet making no sound on the dusty path. The villagers stared in stunned silence, a mixture of awe and terror gripping them. The twins stopped before their father's great hut. Chief Kaya emerged, his body stooped with age and guilt. He saw them and fell to his knees, his face a mess of tears and disbelief. "My daughters," he croaked, his voice thick with a decade of unshed grief. "You've returned." Lena and Mina looked down at the broken man who was their father, their expressions unreadable. They did not offer forgiveness, nor did they utter words of condemnation. Instead, they raised their hands in unison. From their palms, a cascade of glowing seeds spilled forth, blanketing the ground around them. "The forest has sent us back," Lena said, her voice like the rustling of 1,000 leaves. "It has given us a gift for the village that cast us out." Mina continued, her voice the echo of a distant waterfall. "This is the gift of sight, the ability to see the truth in one's own heart." As the seeds touched the ground, they did not sprout into plants. Instead, a wave of energy washed over the village. Every person, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, was suddenly confronted with a vision of their own deepest truths, their hidden kindnesses, their secret cruelties. The chief saw a vision of himself turning back, of scooping his daughters into his arms and carrying them home. He saw the happy years he had sacrificed for a hollow love, and the weight of his regret became unbearable. Serafina saw a vision of her own jealousy, a twisted, ugly thing that had consumed her from the inside out. She shrieked and fled, unable to face the monster in her own soul. The twins did not stay. Their task was complete. They turned and walked back toward the forest, the mist closing behind them like a curtain. They were no longer the chief's daughters. They were children of the forest of whispers, its emissaries of truth. The village was forever changed. The sickness receded and the harvests returned, but no one could ever forget the day the forest returned the chief's abandoned daughters, armed not with weapons of revenge, but with a gift far more powerful: the unbearable weight of the truth.